It's really just a matter of fact. And, we all know what our goal is. We talk about it, right? We want to play in that championship game. Well, you have to win games to get into it. So my job is just to remind our players and our coaches of each and every week of what we're trying to get done and what it's going to take. So you play against a really good team, you got to go out there and win the game if you want to continue to stay in the hunt. So you can call it the playoffs, the hunt, whatever you want to call it, to give ourselves an option. Now, division games like we're going to play this week, that's no different. Every year you've got to find a way to win your division to put yourself in that game. So here we are against New Mexico, and going back and looking at the history of all these games we played, it's been a battle.
This late in the year, how do you try to get that consistency that you're I'm sure looking for all season long?
Yeah. Well, football is a developmental game. I don't know if people talk about a team hitting their stride, and some teams do that. Some teams they're hitting it, and you see a lot of consistency week in and week out of what they're doing. Some teams are doing that right now. Some teams across the country, you see it, and they're really good teams because they're starting to hit that stride, and they've got most of their teams probably healthy. A lot of those guys have been playing together now, so a lot of those things that have come up throughout the year, the issues, maybe they didn't show up. They showed up in the games, but maybe it didn't hurt them. They learned from it. They've been improving on it. We just haven't had that. We've been some of the mistakes, and these are things that not only have we tried to correct and fix and address and do it week in and week out. Now it may be a new guy in there, and you've already addressed it. Now you have somebody else doing it, and they make that same mistake that you already corrected 3 weeks ago, but it comes up again. And that's where, like, the guys that don't play early or the guys that aren't playing much, the backup guys and things like that, and this is always something that's been a pet peeve of mine, when they're not locked in and paying attention, it's just a matter of time. It may not be that week. It's going to be 4 weeks down the road when they are in because that guy's not playing, and they make that mistake that you were just correcting and making sure that you made a point of, and whatever, they're thinking about whatever at that time. So that's the hard part of keeping everybody focused.
Now with that freshman rule, I know you've talked about maybe
Sure.
wanting to utilize it later in the season.
Sure.
Is that something that you intend to do a little bit more down the stretch here? And then I guess also with what has been your philosophy been even the last couple of games? We saw, Kakani come in,
Sure.
and we've seen Billy Bowens a little bit,
Yeah.
Matlock. What's your philosophy been in here going forward?
Yeah. So, Matlock was in there. He's played. Now, some of it by need, too. And we had Kakani come in there and play, and that was part of it. We're able to do that. I would say this, that rule right now, especially with the type of injuries we've had and the guys we've missed in games, that's the best thing that's happened. Because it would be very stressful. We would find a way to maneuver guys around and use other personnel, but being able to use a Billy Bowens and not burning a year and having to sit there and make a decision for 15 plays, we need you to go out there and do this over the next 4 games, and now you lose a whole year. So just that emotion of not having to make that type of decision has been really beneficial, at least for me. I feel it too, where it's like, it's easy. We can put him in there. Yeah, he gets 3 more games after this, fine. Connie, go. We need you. We don't really have anybody else back there. I'm kind of looking at him, and he's been working out with us, and it's like, you want to play? He's like, yeah. All right. How about on this play? Sure. So his first college play goes for a touchdown. He gets to go in there. That's pretty awesome. A pretty awesome start for him. But it's very beneficial. So, yes, as we get into these remaining games, there's a few more guys that will get their opportunities. At the same time, and I've said this before, it's not tryouts. Like, we're not in the tryout phase to allow guys to go in there and just see how they operate when you're trying to finish the season. You're trying to finish and win. Overall, statistically pretty good. And it seems like they've got kind of an identity of what they want to do, and they're working on it at this point. Yeah, defensively, kind of similar to what we've seen. They're going to pressure you. They've played man coverage in the past, so the one-on-ones, those opportunities, we've got to find ways to get good matchups there. Maybe a little bit more zone this year than what we've seen the last couple of years. And I say that, I think they're mixing it up a little more. And we've seen that from defenses, and I think that's more of a trend. I don't know if it's just who we play. Every year teams, offenses, defense, they kind of pick out what's the hot thing to do that year. And this year there's some man coverages, but the drop eights, 3-man rush, drop 8, make the quarterback scramble around, see if he can find a pocket. You see some of that, from them as well.